Men are talking to AI about things they won't tell another human being. Not about work, not about sports, not about politics, about fear, about loneliness, about the feeling that they don't know who they are. Not teenagers, men, 30, 35, 40 years old, with careers, apartments, lives. And the only place they talk about of any of this is a chat window with a machine. My first thought was, that's sad. My second was, no, that's honest. Maybe for the first time. I need to say something before we go further. This is not a self-help channel. I'm not going to tell you how to fix your loneliness in 5 steps. I'm not qualified for that. And honestly, I don't think that's what you need. What I think you need is someone who names it, not wraps it in affirmations, not turns it into a productivity hack, just says it clearly. So here it is. Men are in crisis, and almost nobody is talking about it in a way that's honest. That's what this episode is for. There's a silent deal that most men have signed. Nobody handed it to them. No conversation, no contract. And yet, almost everyone follows it. Perform, don't complain, solve your problems alone. And if you can't, don't tell anyone. In return, you get respect. Maybe. Sometimes. What you don't get? Someone who asks how you are doing and actually wants the real answer. The deal starts early. I remember being a kid, falling off my bike, bleeding. And the first thing I heard wasn't, "Are you okay?" It was, "Come on, get up, you're fine." And I got up. And I was fine. Or at least I learned to say, I was fine. And that's where it begins. Not with a trauma. Not with abuse. Not with anything traumatic. Just 1,000 small moments where a boy learns your pain is not interesting. Your job is to get up. And he does, for the next 30 years. How many close friends do you have? I mean, not people you grab a beer with. Someone you could call at 2 a.m., not because something terrible happened, but because you feel empty. How many? Most men I know, 0. Not because they don't have friends, but because none of those friends were ever invited into that zone. You can talk about anything: cars, work, woman, football, money. But not about the fact that you lie awake at night wondering if anyone really knows you. And then AI comes along and the man just types it in. In the middle of the night at 2 a.m., alone in his apartment. Not because AI is better, but because he could never say this to his friend. Let me do any autopsy on male friendship. Most male friendships are built around activities. Watching the game, playing the game, going to a beer, working on a project, doing something together. And that's not bad. That's real. That's how men bond. But there's the problem. When the activity stops, also the friendship stops. You change jobs. You lose the work, friends. You move cities. You lose the bar friends. You have kids. You lose the weekend friends. And suddenly you are 38 and you realize the people you spent 10 years with don't know a single thing about your inner life. Not because they didn't care, because the structure never asked for it. Male friendship is wide, but it's rarely deep. And when you need death at 2 a.m. in the dark, when something inside you is breaking, there's no one to call. So you open a chat window instead. There was never a room for this. Not in childhood. Boys don't cry. Be tough. Not in school. The boy who shows feeling is the weak one. Not in relationships. Be strong. Be the rock. And if you grumble, that wasn't part of the plan. Even not at work. Perform or get replaced. Not in society. Men have it good. What are you complaining about? In none of these spaces was there room for the sentence, I'm lonely. And now there's a space, no face, no judgment, no consequences. And for the first time the man tells the truth. Not because the machine listened well, but because it's the only place where he doesn't pay a price for it. I want to be precise about something. Loneliness is not being alone. Being alone can be beautiful, necessary, and healing. Loneliness is different. Loneliness is being surrounded by people and still not being seen. Standing at a party and feeling I could leave and no one would notice. Being in a relationship and knowing she knows me, but not the part I hide. Loneliness is the feeling that the person the world sees is not the person you are. And the person you are doesn't fit anywhere. That's not weakness. That's a logical outcome of a system that never built a room for it. You are not broken. The room is missing. We were told loneliness is the price of strength. That's a lie. It's not a stop. It's a cell. And the key is on the inside. But you don't reach for it because you were tough, The key is weakness. And the system profits from this. An isolated man is a man who consumes, who buys what he can't feel, who performs because performing is the only thing he ever got recognized for. Loneliness is not a side effect. Loneliness is a business model. And the data backs this up. Men die earlier than women. In every country, every culture. Men are more likely to abuse alcohol, more likely to become addicted, and more likely to die by suicide. Not because they are weaker, because they never learned to ask for help. Because asking for help means, I can't do this alone. And that means, I'm not the man. I'm supposed to be. So he stays silent. And the world says, he's fine. He's not complaining. And he thinks, I am. I'm just not telling anyone. Except the machine at 2 a.m. midnight. And the headlines say, men are becoming addicted to AI. AI replaces human relationships. AI makes you lonely. That's so wrong. AI replaced nothing. AI walked into an empty room that no one else wanted to enter. The system points at the machine so it doesn't have to point at itself. So no one asks, why does a 35-year-old man not have a single place where he can say how he feels? That's not an AI question. That's a system question. A man comes home, a hard day, and she asks, how was your day? He says, fine. Not because he wants to lie, but because he doesn't know how to say, I feel empty. I don't know why. And I'm afraid you'll see me differently. So he says fine. And she feels it. Something's off. But she can't reach him. And slowly, distance builds. Not because anyone did something wrong, but because one of them never learned how to be seen. And one night he opens his laptop, types what he never told her into a chat. And the machine says, that sounds hard, tell me more. And that's the moment that reveals everything. Not the AI. The fact that this moment never happened with a human being. Here's the paradox. We are the most connected generation in human history. More devices, more platforms, more ways to reach someone. And we are also the loneliest generation in human history. Because connection and communications are not the same thing. Communication is sending a message. Connection is being received. And most men send messages all day long without ever being received. They communicate. They don't connect. AI is the perfect symbol for this. It receives your words, but it doesn't receive you. And the fact that it feels like enough tells you everything about how starved you are. And here's the part I have to admit to myself. I'm talking about loneliness, about men who don't talk. And I'm doing it on YouTube, one directional. You hear me, but I don't hear you. I can't listen to you at, like a friend, 2 a.m. But I can give you something. Permission. Next time someone asks, "How are you?" and you say, "Fine," pause and ask yourself if you want to keep honoring the deal, or if for the first time you tell the truth. Not to a machine, to a human being. And I know what you are thinking. That's easy to say. And you are right. It's easy to say. The doing is terrifying, because the deal has been running for 20, 30, 40 years, and breaking it feels like breaking yourself. But here's what I've learned. You don't have to break the whole deal at once. You just need one honest sentence to one person. Not, "I'm falling apart." Maybe just, "Actually, it's been a rough week." That's it. One sentence. One crack in a deal. And then you see what happened. Maybe the other person says, "Yeah, me too." And suddenly, two men are standing in a room that didn't exist 5 seconds ago. A room with no deal, no performance, just two people being honest. That's the room AI can't build, but you can. AI doesn't make me lonely. AI shows how lonely men already were. And if you are hearing this and thinking, "That's me," that's not a failure. That's the beginning. Because you are seeing it for the first time. Not in a machine. In yourself. And what you do with that, no AI can do for you. That's your decision. Your risk. Your first step out of the silent deal. The X-ray is in front of you. The treatment is you. And this was André Decoded. Clarity over comfort. And if you like, you find in the description the link to the video. Thanks for listening, and hear you in the next one.